Hello, everyone. This is Shane with another Real Talk. This is episode 6, and let's just do it. Uh, today, today, we're going to be talking about why we cut people out of our lives, why we stop communicating with people. Nowadays, we call it ghosting. Why do we cut people out of our lives? That could be friends. I mean, obviously, we're going to get into um, try to get into as much of it as possible. But it could be friends, could be acquaintances, could be anybody, family, family. Why do we cut people out of our lives? I think that's a very complicated issue that is really concerning with today's society, actually. And it's very concerning because I think that the way that we're operating right now is very unhealthy. I think that we have a lot of freedom to decide who we want to be a part of our lives and who we don't. And it's possible that we take too much advantage of that freedom and too much advantage of the technology and the just the things that exist today that allow us to easily move on from one relationship to another. And it can be any kind of relationship. It can be a friendship, it can be a familial relationship, it can be a significant other or romantic relationship. We take for granted that we have almost the entire world at our fingertips. We know this in the modern society, in the first world, and it's extremely easy for us to say, I'll just move on to the next person. There's 1,000 other people out there that will be my friend or that will jump at the chance of interacting with me, or whatever way that we want to rationalize it in our head. And most cases, I don't really know the facts about it, the statistics, but it's true. It is easier now more than it has ever been, and it will probably continue to get easier to meet people, to form relationships with people. And before we had to go out and we had to join clubs, extracurricular activities. But now, like I said, we have almost the entire world at our fingertips, and it makes it so there's no attachment anymore. And anymore is an exaggeration. Of course, I think there's a lot of people, and a lot of people like me, that go into it and want to form lasting relationships and don't want to just cut people out of their lives. But I think that there's a lot of people, especially, I'm talking just from my own experience and what I see, and I interact with a lot of people who are around my age, and the norm seems to be, that person makes a mistake, that person, one strike, and that person's out. And that's bad. It's bad because really it puts so much less, what's the word, value on the human relationship. Human relationships shouldn't be disposable. They should be something that you're invested in, especially if it's someone you actually care about. And I think we've gotten a bit desensitized to the idea of meaningfully and closely connecting with the people around us. It doesn't have to be the people around us, but with the people who are in our lives. I think it's excellent. I think it's awesome that you can go online now and you can get in contact with thousands of people who are probably just looking to have a conversation or looking for other human interaction, and you could probably find some legitimately great people. But I think that I actually kind of just lost the thought there. I think that it's too easy for us to not have enough respect or regard for the people that we're interacting with. I don't think that a lot of the times people are thinking about what their actions are doing and how it's affecting other people. Let's take an example. I had a friend a while ago who I worked with, and I thought that we got along fairly nicely. Then all of a sudden he actually got on this workout kick. He wanted to wake up 5 a.m. or 5:30 a.m. every morning, go work out. He really wanted to take care of himself better. That was excellent. But at that point in my life, he asked me if I wanted to join him, and at that point in my life, I didn't feel like I wanted to do that. And then after that, honestly, I don't know what else happened. It might have been some other things that I may have said or may have done, but we just didn't really interact anymore. We kind of fell off as friends, and I actually asked my boss about it later, but it was weird. Uh, it was just one minute we interacted pretty regularly, and then the next it was just gone. And he left that job for a different one. Same boss though, because he owned a couple of different businesses. But I would say that's if he legitimately had a problem with me, which I think that he did. I mean, he was kind of a jackass, so I don't. So I think he just. I think he had a problem with me that he just couldn't talk to me about, or he just wasn't willing to talk to me about. Was fine. I think it's legitimate if you have a real problem with somebody, uh, to say I shouldn't have you in my life, and I think that that's the one reason to actually cut people out. If those people aren't good for you, aren't good for your health, or aren't good for your life, and we're talking health, mentally and physically, or emotionally, just whatever you have to do to take care of yourself, you should do that, even if it's somebody that's in your family. If it's your father or your mother, and those people just aren't healthy for you to be around, then I think that it's okay if you have to make a tough decision and choose to maybe leave them out of some things. Maybe everything. But I think that there's that something like that happening is rare. I think that the way that it usually works is I had you around, and now you're not around anymore, so I'm not going to communicate with you anymore. I'm going to call that friends of convenience. You were close. You were in proximity of me. It was easy to interact with you. And then after that time passed, then I guess there wasn't anything there. And for me, I guess I certainly feel more than most people about the people around me. And I think this is where it gets a little bit harder. That either people don't have an emphasis on real relationships and aren't feeling anything for those around them, so they don't care what happens, or actually, I don't even know what the alternative is. They either don't care or they don't know what they're doing. This is actually something I'll have to give more thought. Dang, usually I'm much better about this. Anyways, I totally understand the aspect of cutting someone else out of your life because it might not be in your best interest to keep them around. But I also have a problem with people not having a good reason to do so as well, and not showing enough respect to you or to any person to give them, I don't know, at least a little bit of your effort, a little bit of your time. That it's so easy to just dismiss people and say, you know, I'll move on to the next one or to the next 5 people, or however they may do it. I think that's a real problem today. Anyways, I think that's where I'm going to wrap up now. Probably, honestly, we'll do another follow-up video on this, but this is a good start. This is a good foundation for which we can build on later. We can talk a little bit more about, friends of convenience, and I have several different classifications of friends. We can also talk about practical friends, and then your more personal friends, and we'll probably approach that next time. Anyways, still trying to keep these short. It's probably the longest one, or close to the longest one. This has been Shane. Remember, any comments, questions, concerns, whatever, feel free to comment, send an email, I don't know. I'm more than happy to take any of your questions or talk about anything that you might be curious about. I took a couple days break, something like that. But I'm still on the train, so I'm going to keep it chugging along. Anyways, hope you have an excellent life, and until next time.